Hello again, I am Xarkun, this is World of Warships Legends, and today I've got a game for you on Two Brothers. I am again in the Tier 6 Russian destroyer Minsk, and this game is possibly one of the most frustrating games I have ever played. You are going to witness me completely abuse the chat wheel in this game, which is something that annoys me when I'm on the receiving end of one of my teammates doing it. But hopefully, when you guys watch this game, you will understand that my abuse of the chat wheel is justified. Now, right off the bat, we have spawned on whatever this right flank of Two Brothers. We got two cruisers, a battleship, and me, a destroyer. Observe the two cruisers tuck tail and run away, leaving me to spot. And again, the Minsk is not the ideal spotting destroyer. Any other destroyer is going to outspot it, except itself. Luckily for me, the destroyer that happened to spawn on this flank is also a Minsk. And the Minsk, even though it has terrible concealment, is capable of spotting cruisers and battleships just fine. So that is what I'm doing here for the Queen Elizabeth that has spawned with me. You'll notice, I guess, that one of the cruisers is pointing in this general direction. So initially it doesn't look like he's going to tuck tail and run. Don't worry, he's going to tuck tail and run. So I'm sitting here providing some spotting, hoping that one of these two guys will open up on these targets. They won't. So I am going to take matters into my own hands. I have launched a salvo at this Nuremberg. First one misses. Second one here may be better on target. Yes, it is. And one thing I said in my previous video about the Minsk is that its AP is pretty good, but I didn't demonstrate that very much in that video, so hopefully this one will remedy it. I'm using the AP quite a bit more in this battle. And the commander build is still the same Gurren commander build I was using in the other Minsk video. So if you want to know what that is, you can refer to that one. Nuremberg here coming around the corner. Now, if you look at the minimap, you will see that both of the cruisers have tucked tail. They are nowhere to be seen. It is only me and this Queen Elizabeth defending this flank. And without spoiling things too much for you, I am going to defend this entire flank for the duration of this entire battle with the help of no more than one other friendly ship at a time. Our first ally here, the Queen Elizabeth, is not doing too hot. If you look on the minimap, it kind of looks like he is presenting broadside to a Nagato, and he may be beached on an island, so obviously he is not going to last much longer. I am desperately pleading with the two friendly cruisers to come back here and help us out. But they won't. There is an enemy cruiser that is trying to go down the channel. They seem more concerned about stopping him than helping this flank, and since the Queen Elizabeth is almost dead, essentially this flank is completely collapsing. Now I am opening fire on the Nagato. Initial salvo gets absolutely nothing. Second salvo of HE is going to do a little bit of damage. We're hoping to start a fire here. This Nagato is angled. I find occasionally with Gurren's AP shell penetration buff that you can get some AP damage into battleship superstructure even when they are slightly angled, but the HE is just a better choice in that situation. And here we go, the enemy Minsk, and he's sailing pretty slowly. Launch a salvo of AP in his direction, clear the gun barrels, switch to the HE. The Queen Elizabeth is going to be going down here any second, and when the Queen Elizabeth does go down, it is only going to be me on this flank versus a Nagato, a Nuremberg, and another Minsk. Both the Nagato and the Nuremberg are hellbent on destroying that Queen Elizabeth, and the Nagato finally does. So now I'm the only target they are going to have left to shoot at. And you see there against that Nagato, I got 25 2,500 damage with all my guns on target, AP in the gun barrels. So you can see that this AP is pretty effective against broadside battleships, broadside cruisers. You get good damage rolls like that. Eventually that damage is going to start to add up, but the Nagato is angled, so we are switching back to HE, and we are not worried about getting all of our guns on target because that Nuremberg's fire has proven to be fairly accurate, and there the Nagato actually gets a hit on us. So we're trying to dodge, and since their fire seems to be becoming a little bit more accurate, it is time to deploy smoke. Now I am the only one standing between these three ships and the base, and there is still a cruiser lurking at the other end of that channel. Minsk appears again, sailing at what looks to be like full speed. Gotta give him plenty of lead because he is a quick little destroyer. And we do hit him a few times there. We do have a friendly cruiser approaching the base to assist us. This friendly cruiser has noticed that unless immediate action is taken, the base is totally under threat. Again, I am pretty much the only one defending it. Finally here we get a fire on this Nagato, and now we switch back to the AP, even though he is slightly angled, getting about 1k per salvo there. Not exactly ideal, and not a total indication of what these guns are capable of, but it's nice, consistent little chip away damage, you know, consistently. So that's what we want. We just want to slow these guys down. Unfortunately, the Minsk does not have very long range torpedoes. If it did, I would be able to hold this flank a lot more confidently without the assistance of a cruiser. And luckily, the Tashkent, the Tier 7 Russian destroyer, appears to have 8-kilometer torpedoes. So I am very close to having the Minsk fully ground out. I think I'm at 190 out of 210 XP. And so when the next update comes around and the Tashkent is released, I will immediately jump in that and see how it goes. So you guys can look forward to that. Nuremberg is shooting at me. I am able to dodge his salvos with relative ease, and I know I also said in my previous Minsk video that I didn't know how influential this ship could be in comparison to like other tier 6 destroyers, you know, didn't know how influential it could be on a game. And you're gonna see by the scoreboard at the end of this game that the answer is the Minsk can be quite influential on the outcome of a game. Nuremberg there is almost dead, and looks like our fire takes him out. So that's good. But the Nagato is about to enter the base. Our friendly cruiser there is at the mouth of the channel, facing what I think is a Miyoko or a Mogami. Can't quite remember, but we'll see soon enough. And we do have one friendly, I think, shores. Yeah, okay, well the friendly cruiser in the base is dead. So now the Minsk, Nagato, and Miyoko or Mogami all have access to the base. They're going to enter it and begin capping soon. We have a friendly shores approaching to help us. At this point, I have resigned myself to the reality that the shores is the only help that I am going to get. And between the shores and I, we are going to have to defend the base so that hopefully our other 3 ships up there in the north can clear out the rest of the team and push into their base. But that is, of course, an extremely tall order based on the kind of odds we are up against. And even though the Minsk's guns are pretty good, its firepower and ability to deal damage without the aid of its suicide torpedoes is fairly limited. Enemy Minsk again pops up, and we're gonna see what we can do. We hit him to reset the capture progress because he had accumulated most of the points. That gives us breathing room for a little bit of time, and luckily this shores that we have is laying down some effective fire on this Nagato. The Nagato is no longer on fire. He might have burned his damage control. If so, between the shores and we should be able to light him on fire again, but I am sailing just outside my own gun range, so I'm going to have to double back. Luckily that Atlanta is not interested in trying to come down here. He probably couldn't without getting killed, so he would definitely be the biggest threat to me, and I am safe from him. But I'm going to have to be really careful here. My number one priority is going to have to be preserving my own hit points, and a few more of them are shaved off by that Nagato. And what I want to do is focus on resetting the enemy's capture progress, not even really dealing damage at all. I just want to hit them. I want to reset their capture progress. I am being assisted by the shores. Unfortunately, the shores is sort of relying on me to spot these guys. And with the enemy Minsk out there, it's difficult to spot them without being targeted. And you'll notice like all of the firepower that has been directed at me over the course of this game has still failed to kill me, thanks to the Minsk's incredible ability to dodge incoming salvos at long range. This ship is not a weak ship. I mean, I do see complaints about this ship and the Russian destroyer line on social media saying, they suck. They don't suck, guys. They're just pretty difficult to play, and it's not easy to get super high big damage numbers in them. But I swear it'd be nice if you could see a detailed breakdown of statistics at the end of the battle, because I would love to see how much incoming damage I avoided during this game. It has to be pretty high. Enemy Minsk again, he pops up, and we are able to lay effective fire on him without him being able to return fire because we are concealed. He is not. But he disappears, so we're going to have to switch targets here. We still got a little bit of time left on our smoke screen, and we are going to make every second count. So the Miyoko is, and it was a Miyoko, not a Mogami. I knew it was one of the two. Miyoko is showing us broadside, and he is angled in a little bit. See that hit there? Nice 1700 damage, just chunking him for, about 1,000 hit points every 5 seconds, which will add up pretty quickly. And also, it is not impossible to get citadels on broadside cruisers at ranges that would surprise you on this destroyer. I've scored citadels on broadside cruisers at ranges of 10 kilometers. I think I've got some footage that shows that, but this game is just frankly more interesting. Now finally, if we look up at the northern end of the map, the friendlies have finally cleared out the rest of the team and have entered the enemy base. It is basically, this would have been a guaranteed loss right from the beginning, with those two cruisers turning tail and ducking away from the fight. And luckily, myself, the Shores, and the other cruiser, and the Queen Elizabeth, who helped defend this flank and died doing it. All of us are the only ones, well, not the only ones, obviously the rest of our team did kill the enemies up north, so they have to have some credit for that. But given the way the game was unfolding, all of them, in my opinion, should have turned around, kited away from the enemies over there, and tried to come back and assist us. There are 37 seconds left in the match. and this one is going to be a win. We are ahead on points, and as long as neither the shores or I die, we should be okay. Neither of us look like we're in danger of dying. That Miyoko, on the other hand, he does look like he's in danger of dying. But I don't think we're going to have enough time left in the match to kill him. We have sailed out of gun range. We only have 2,800 hit points left, so we have fought hard throughout the course of this game for a very frustrating, but in my opinion, hard-won victory. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Got a lot of World of Warships Legends content coming all the time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.